What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 75 of my Total Warhammer 3 Ikit Claw Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Snitch's apprentice Metable has been making his way through the dwarven armies and doing so quite successfully. I might add, only one army remains in his vicinity, and we should be able to take it out as well, just like we did all the rest, and then move into either Sylvanian territory or dwarven territory, I guess, as there really ain't much left of Sylvania. Do they actually have 2 territories left only? Let's see. Oh wow, they even won't want to peace out. Wait, 3 territories, where's the third? Wait. 1 in Waldenhof, 1 in Schwarzhofen. Oh, Dromar. Okay, I almost missed that. We can have Mutant jump there, or the Mutant specifically, and jump up there and take it out, I suppose. Hopefully the ogres don't go up there and take it. Now, of course, they're going to start getting annoying and quote-unquote doing things, since they can finally do something without actually putting any effort in. Absolutely annoying, but oh well. Now, in terms of what we gotta do this turn, oh right, also we have the BAK-BAK, the lethal situation. He did get into a fight with an enemy army, and did take a little bit of damage doing so. We are still somewhat in danger here, and I guess the question is going to be whether we try to attack this, or whether we straight up back off. The other option would be to go into an ambush right outside Flag and try that as well. But I'm not sure whether that's a good idea either. We could also try and ambush behind Flag. That's another option, but it really depends on whether the enemy sieges or not. Well, regardless of what we pick, we do have points to assign, so let's start with those. We do have Lightning Strike maxed out. I guess with the 2 points, we could either get Renowned and Feared, which is great, but it doesn't actually help us in terms of battles at all. So in that light, I think we're gonna go for Stand or Die. We could get you your tail weapon, but it's really Blade Shield that you need, and it's gonna be a long time until you get it. Sneaky might be useful, but yeah, we need you to be a better fighter when you're out alone. Now, in terms of anybody benefiting from tier 7, I guess we could benefit 1 unit of Poison Winds, but it doesn't look like all that much. So I think in that light, we'll go for Quartermaster, and then we'll go for Renowned and Feared, and then we'll start building him out to be a better melee fighter afterwards. Now you, Chieftain, you've got 2 points, and you've got Suspiciously Loyal now, which actually will help, and Bread Leader or Paranoid Defender. And Verminous Valor can certainly help escape if we get into a bad situation. Considering you're not on the Bone Breaker, that may be the only way that you survive. Or we get another point in Blade Shield. Ambush defense chance plus 10%. You're not likely to be ambushing anybody. Yeah, let's get Paranoid Defender for now. We gotta get all these anyway. Alrighty, and then lastly, our Warlock Engineer, who does not have a lot of spells accessible, and is basically only in here temporarily anyway, so that we can cast stuff. Howling Warp Gale wouldn't be helpful. Death Frenzy might, but for who? That's the problem. And these guys, well, we don't have enough melee to make good use of the spell. And we could try to go for Flensing Ruin. I don't like Crack's Call, as I've already said many a time. We could go for Flensing Ruin just for the armor reduction on the enemies, and buff ourselves up a little bit. Or we could ignore this altogether and just continue. You know what? We could get Ballistics Calibration, right? We could go Triangulation and straight to Ballistics Calibration. It's not a crazy buff, but it might actually be worth more than these spells, since we're probably spamming Warp Lightning and Scorch instead of these. You know, let's go Ballistics Calibration. We'll go Instructor and Doom Rocket next, and then go for a little bit more spell work. Now, Sour Crooked. I don't like the prospect of fighting this army, mostly because they have a ton of cav. But we might still have to. The other option would be to... No, I was thinking we could try to move out here and attack these guys, draw this army into a battle as a reinforcement, because it's easier to fight the reinforcements and these guys can't run. And the problem with this is that if we do this, we have 21 movement remaining, and thus likely not enough to return to Flag, which would be a pretty big issue. Because if we have to stay out here, we'll get attacked by a bunch of armies and then probably destroyed. And I obviously don't want that. Now, we could also try to block one of these armies to prevent them from reinforcing. Alright, well, regardless, I think we're going to try for Sour Crooked. It'll be, once again, quite dangerous, even more dangerous, because we're hurt and have less units to do damage, especially, unfortunately, on the Warplock Jezzails. But this time, we'll be deploying a little bit closer to the edge of the map. Ooh, we did get an ambush, though. That's a little better. Still going to be a close victory, and the enemy cav will be able to charge, but maybe we can do a lot more damage. On the other hand, the problem with ambushes is if the enemy charges us and does a lot of damage, we can't do much about it and escape off the map because we're going to be deployed near the center. So this is basically either win or die. Well, I guess it's win or die then, because we're fighting. Here we go. Alrighty, a little bit of lag, but here we go. Now, before we get started here, this should be pretty interesting, and we are very, very wary. As you can see, I've done a little bit more work in setting up than I usually do. And I've said this before, but generally, the more I actually bother to set things up, the more concerned I am about the actual battle. So, in that light, we have the artillery pieces in two locations, one here hidden behind this hill with a unit of clan rats hidden and ready to protect it, and then the same thing here with these Plague Claw catapults behind this hill as well, though their protection is primarily limited to the Warplock Jezzails and the fact that BAK-BAK can outrun literally anything. Now, in terms of what we were set up with the rest of our units, we have our Rattling Guns who are immediately ready to fire upon the enemy here, including their Doom Divers, and our single unit of Clan Rat Spears, or our second unit of Clan Rat Spears, as well as our Chieftain, ready to countercharge anything that might move to try to attack these guys. Basically, what we're going to try to do is cut off like half of this army, and if the other half escapes, we're gonna let it do so. It doesn't matter. We just need to do damage, or as much as possible damage to the enemy forces here without taking damage ourselves. It's gonna be a lot more valuable if we do it that way. Anyway, here we go. We also have our Jezzails unprotected, but they can go into stock and move away if the enemy rushes towards them. Let's see what we can do. BAK-BAK's going to charge in. The enemy is going to chuck their range damage, or their arrows, at him, and that's great because it will allow him to force them to hurt themselves. He's just going to try to distract the units a little bit, as much as he possibly can, to prevent them from moving for at least a few extra seconds. We also have that Warp Lightning coming down to try to stop these damn Wolf Riders from charging, but it looks like the AI did not fall for it this time, and is setting them directly towards our Rattling Guns. We do countercharge them as well with our single Chieftain, and it looks like he does manage to pull it off, stopping them for just that one extra second that was needed for the Rattlings to rip them apart in combination with our Warplocks. Or not Warplock, well actually yes, but Warplocks and Poison Winds. Now it's just a matter of trying to gun down the enemy units as they rush towards us. BAK-BAK is getting the heck out of there, as he is very much in danger with the HP that he currently has, but once again he can freely run around and do whatever he pleases. 138 speed, and that's without Foe Seeker on, so he's not in danger unless he gets killed by our own units, which, to be fair, is a distinct possibility. Looks like the Lord has actually left the front of the column less cowardly than the Dwarfen Lords that we've seen in recent times, and while these guys are heading off the map, he's going to join the rest of his forces that are fighting. Rattling Guns are doing a pretty great job, and the Lord is moving in, but unfortunately for him, we do have Howling Warp Gale, which means all the Jezzails and all the Rattling Guns are going to focus him down at the same time, together with those Poison Wind Globadiers, and he's going to drop right out of the sky without having accomplished anything. Very nice. Gotta love that spell. When you can use it, it's obnoxiously good. Definitely one of those better have it and not need it than need it and not have it sort of spells. Anyway, with that, it looks like those units that we ambushed at the back of their column, and this is showing us why it's so dangerous to be in the rear guard, have been pretty much destroyed. Gonna get a few more snipes off on those units that we can, but it looks like the rest of the army will simply move off of the map. The enemy cav are going to be pretty much destroyed though, so I think this worked out reasonably well for us so far. Few more hits, every single unit that we can kill, beautiful, down to an orc, and a boar as well. And while these guys are still trying to run off the map, I did decide to try to summon the menace below to try to distract them and stop them, but it looks like they don't want to get engaged, and they will all just run off. Would have been lovely to have been able to attack all of the melee units with our plague claws, but I think the risk management said to try to avoid damage, basically. Or that was the conclusion I came to. Oh, look, BAK-BAK's still fighting a few more units. He shouldn't have too much trouble against boar boys, at least not by himself. Or by themselves, rather. And certainly not while hurt. Popping that Foe Seeker up to 162 speed now. Surprisingly low HP or weapon strength though at 444 though. Gotta get that a little bit higher if we can, maybe get him a better weapon. Alrighty, munch those boars away. Maybe you can chase down this unit, maybe not, but I believe those are the last of the units remaining. We've already used our healing potion on BAK-BAK, and as we can see, we've hit our healing cap, so we won't be able to heal him more, which I was hoping to do with the healing potion, but oh well. We've got more battles for him to heal in, I'm sure. A close victory, but not really. I guess ammunition expended, but we really didn't take all that much damage, and we should be able to heal on top of that after this battle. Alrighty, very nice. I think that was probably one of, if not the best outcome we could have hoped for with that. Yes, we didn't destroy the army completely, but we basically took no losses for the trouble of destroying half of it, and a considerable amount of their cavalry, as well as their lord and their doom divers at that. Plus, on top of that, we will be able to heal BAK-BAK and have his army be more lethal, or more viable at least, for the next round. Plus, this gives him attrition as well, very nice, or attrition reduction as well, perfect vigor and campaign movement range. Very, very nice. Alrighty, and the Bonebreaker for Rat Surge. Alright, I am pretty darn happy with that result. And now I guess the question is whether we can actually... And we might be able to still return to Karak Vlag if we do this and then March stance back. I'm not 100% sure, though. We will at least be able to range to the vicinity of it. I do wonder. Let's do this. Ickstone, you have been blocking armies lately. Let's try success chance increase. Do we still have our 13 scheme up and running? Yeah, so what's the likelihood of us succeeding? It is 20. Oh, wow, that's low. And that is very low. What about you? 20, and you... 51. Okay, so this one we should actually be able to block. We could also just straight up kill this army, and this would be a guarantee, whereas these ones not so much. Difficult decision. Either way, let's get Renowned and Feared. And let's get a little bit more buffs for you, Bread Leader. Nice. He loves to lead bread. And then you're gonna get Doom Rocket, just that little extra bit of damage. Ooh, although the extra range on the Rattling Guns is considerable as well. Damn, what kind of army are we facing? The Doom Rocket is much better against piles of melee than it is against Cav, and there's a lot of Cav in this army. You know what? I think that perhaps the range is actually more beneficial. It'll help the Plague Claws as well as the Rattlings, as well as the Jezzails, not that they need much more in the way of range. Now, BAK-BAK, let's just take a look at what you have. You have a Talisman of Endurance, the Sword of Strife, and the Rocket Boots. Do we have perhaps a spare... do we have a spare Fencer's Blades? Oh, a pair of Crowns of Command. Let's see. We do have Helms of Discord. We'll be taking a look at these later on. Also, before I forget, you two, Obsidian Amulets. Fuse into another Fell Blade. Okay, well, that's great, I guess. We could give it... Oh, you know what we could do? We could have both of the vampire-killing assassins in Medible's army wielding Fell Blades, I guess. Just for fun. But this is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Fencer's Blades. If you're wondering why Fencer's Blades, it's to give the extra defense that they offer. No, no Fencer's Blades. Damn, that's a shame. And because then we could get extra defense on the weapon, and really, BAK-BAK does need defense more than anything right now. He also has... Well, the rocket... I'm keeping the rocket boots, damn it. It's too tempting. Yeah, there really isn't too much that we could do in terms of his items. I mean, yeah, if we get an Armor of Destiny, we could probably give him one, and then, well, we do, but, not to replace the rocket boots. We could give him a Talisman of Preservation, but frankly, I like to put these things on, well, Throt is a good wielder of it, but, mostly on priests. I'm just thinking that they have the big targets and they can get ripped apart in range, so BAK-BAK might not be the best option for it. Yeah. Alrighty, well, either way, I think we're going to now switch gears for a second and have Medable and do another ambush. We will, however, move Cypressin just in case the ambush fails, though it hasn't in recent times. Let's also apply some points here. Also, you're using the Fellblade, right? Yeah. Okay. We are moving towards standard die. We do have maxed out. Ooh, yes. So the rank 7s will work here. Gutter-wise would help fairly decently for the Death Runners and Ashen Triads, at least in speed. It would be really nice if this gave them missile resistance or armor or defense. But I guess it does make sense. Warp Smart instead will give us more damage out of our weapons teams. So that's the 3 Warp Block Jezzails, which do a lot of work in this army. But no, I think we gotta go gutter-wise first. Yeah, at least for this army. Next up, you are now Immortal, lovely, Metastorm, and you're using the Warp-Forged Blade, or rather than 102 melee attack. Might swap that to Fellblade later, but it's not super important right now. You are also, you've got your Assassin's Trophy, then we could get you Precise for a little bit more damage. Might as well. You have all that attack, we want you to actually hit hard enough to do the damage. Now you... Magical Reserve's not super useful for us right now. Brittle Bone, not worth casting, but let's get Toxic Rain so that we finally have the passive for this tree. And I believe that's it. Medable, time to go again, buddy. Let's see if you can't ambush this last army here. You have a 100% chance everywhere, so I think that you will always ambush. Unless I'm mistaken, yeah, there's another ambush. I do wonder if there's a base non-ambush ability or a non-ambush percentage, like you know how there's a base percentage, like even if the enemy has melee defense at 0 or melee attack at 0, they still will hit occasionally, and vice versa. I wonder if there's the same thing for ambush, like you can get to 95%, but there's a 5% that you fail. Either way, that's a lot of Ironbreakers. We'll have to be wary of them and destroy them with our Jezzails before we do anything. But that said, it's an army in march stance, so we're not super concerned. Here we go again, Medable. Alrighty, here we go again. Medable's done a lot of work already, and he's going to continue. We are, however, going to take a little bit of a page out of BAK-BAK's book, as odd as that sounds, and we're going to stay all the way back here. And if we split the army and allow some of them to leave, well, that wouldn't be too bad. I would like to kill the Ironbreakers at the very least, as well as all the enemy ranged units if possible, but I guess we'll have to see. As usual, our Jezzails are deployed all the way at the edge of their firing distance, and they're going to target those enemy flame cannons first, who unfortunately will be dead long before they can get a shot off. The Ashen Sorcerer also moved in just to cast that Veil of Shadows and disrupt the enemy a little bit, and we also have our Death Runners as well as our Gutter Runners deployed on the sides here, ready to hit the enemy in the back or in the side, depending on how the enemy army reacts. It seems like every single ambush is a little bit different from every other ambush, so I never know what exactly the enemy's gonna do, which does keep these ambushes interesting, if nothing else. Anyway, looks like the flame cannons are just about done, with a couple of them remaining, the crew nearly destroyed. We've also switched our Jezzails to not only targeting the flame cannons, but also 2 units of troll hammer torpedoes, which are pretty quick to knock out as they have low unit numbers. There we go, sniping those guys away. The enemy are, however, marching forward, and we are going to pop that clone summon real soon, as well as a menace below to try to get in their way, and so that our main army doesn't take damage. And there we go, looks like some enemy quarreler. Those are rangers, aren't they? Yeah, the rangers are gonna fire a little bit into our Jezzails, and we don't like that one bit, so here come the Ixis Triads clones, as well as the Clan Rats, to move forward while the enemy gets sniped as well. And, of course, our summons are going to absorb all those satchel charges from the enemy, which is gonna be quite useful. Now, in terms of which troops have decided to move towards us, it looks like the Ironbreakers, basically all the range units, have decided that they will fight, whereas the Longbeards, the Hammerers, and the enemy Lord are going to try to run off the map. Well, that's a problem for them, I suppose, as they will die if this army loses, and I do expect, seeing Medible's results in previous times, that it probably will. Another Veil of Shadows coming down. I think this one might have been overcast as well, and just to distract those Ironbreakers for a while yet, or for a while longer, and of course allow us to get more volleys into them with our Jezzails. This must be so frustrating, just all the Veils of Shadows and the Jezzails sniping you constantly. Yeah, I definitely want to get a couple of these Eshin Sorcerers into another army that makes heavy use of Jezzails. I'm almost tempted to give one to the Mutant, considering he uses an all-ranged army. It might be a decent option as well. It does seem like Veil of Shadows can come in pretty clutch. Fairly useless against monsters, but against infantry, pretty darn useful. Alrighty, well it looks like another unit of Clan Rat summons is just about done, but the enemy continues wasting those precious satchel charges on them. Unfortunately, our Warp Fireball did miss, but it's not a big deal, as it does look like all the enemy Ironbreakers are going to be sniped, regardless of the use of that Fireball. Ooh, and we do try to move our assassins forward. I had Metable try to charge/throw his Crackle Bomb, but unfortunately the charges knocked him down before he could do so. Oh well, then he's gonna go into melee combat, attack these guys while they're massively debuffed via the rival Hide Talisman and have basically no melee attack. And then as soon as that's done, we'll charge away. Plus this will give us an extra 1 or 2 volleys. And there we go, Medible's out. Rushing quickly away. I do like how much faster, oh I love that shuriken toss back. I do love how much faster the rats are than the dwarves, as it does really help with these maneuvers. Anyway, it looks like the rest of the enemy army is moving off the screen. We have moved our gutter runners and death runners to start hitting enemy units in the back. Ironbreakers without the ability to toss those satchel charges and any remaining units that weren't sniped. Otherwise, it looks like the battle is pretty much ours. This might be the last Ironbreaker unit that is going to stand here, and the Death Runners, the elite Death Runners, the Viscrit's Death Squad, will be taking them out. And there we go. Oh wow, the Viscrit's Death Squad has a surprisingly high amount of melee defense. I was expecting them to be a little bit more glass cannon-y, but that's very solid. They actually have more melee defense than attack, which you really wouldn't expect. Huh. What about our regular non-Viscrit's Death Runners? Just out of curiosity, I didn't check what their stats were recently. 43, yeah, so their melee defense is still pretty darn high. It's just that they're extremely vulnerable to range fire due to their extremely low armor. Anyway, oh, stop sniping those guys. Don't do that. Alright, that's probably more casualties to our own Jezzails than to the enemy there. I think 3 of them got killed by that snipe, but hopefully not too many more. Anyway, a decisive victory for Medable. Who knew? Who would have figured? Not the 4th one in a row at all, but as usual, great job Medable, and it does seem like that particular strategy did work out fairly well. Let's see how many of the enemy units remain, and how, just out of curiosity I guess, since the entire army is dead, how many actually escaped. It doesn't seem like it would have made a difference if they fought though, so I'm not even mad. Alrighty, not too bad. Now, I'm starting to like this sort of format for ambushes. We don't necessarily have to destroy the enemy army completely. Granted, this army is in march stance, so it's dead, but even if it wasn't, we did manage to destroy on the map every single unit of Ironbreakers and all the enemy ranged units and artillery. So basically, all the enemy units that were any kind of threat are dead, and the non-threatening units are left alive. Yes, Hammerers and the Longbeards are threatening to melee, don't get me wrong, but the Jezzails and I don't know, Plague Claws, whatever, shouldn't have any kind of trouble deleting them before they get to melee, whereas the Ironbreakers and obviously the enemy range can actually fire back. So yeah, definitely a reason to have taken that out. It's almost like a hit and run sort of tactic. I feel like it would be very appreciated by both the Skaven in general, but also Clan Eshin in particular. Alright, very nice. Got a free potion of speed, and it looks like Metable can move no longer. He's out of movement range, or points or whatever. You guys, how far can you move here? You can move to the moot. This guy might actually be able to reach us. I do wonder. Alright, Metable, I want you... Wait, you can't go into ambush stance, can you? You can, but only right here. So the question then is, if we go into ambush stance, will these guys come for us or will they stay there? You know what? Stay in ambush stance. And then we're gonna keep Cyprus in non-ambush stance. Let's say in channeling stance, and let's see if they try to go after Cyprus, and we can use Metable as a reinforcement. I'm not sure whether this will actually work or not, but it might be that these guys see Cyprus and move towards him, which will allow Metable to later on kill them all, which would work just as well. They do have a decent amount of armies all the way out here, so that is definitely not the end of what we're doing there. Now, what else do we have? We got a little bit of money out of that, so I suppose we could spend a little of it. We also, well, I suppose we can't end the turn and summon Deathmaster Snitch until BAK-BAK the Lethal gets one more fight going. So then the question is whether we try to go after this or not. If we were to succeed at another ambush, I would certainly give the second army a try. I'm almost once again tempted to go after this army to make sure that it's destroyed for good and doesn't have a chance to get a new lord going. I imagine that they'll be able to get high-level lords up, but the destruction of every lord is also quite useful. If we attack Grimfang and we don't get an ambush, it might still be beneficial to try to fight this army. You know what, let's give this a try. If we don't get an ambush, we might fight. I guess if we do get an ambush, we might still want to fight.
Send slaves.
And then we'll just hope that we can move back in march stance, because if we don't, it'll be, well, it'll be a toughie next episode as we try to survive. Ooh, we got another warp fuel. Still a long ways away from building Doom. Well, actually, one turn. We could soon build another emergency Doom rocket, or in the alternative, we could keep going to Doom flares. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still need 9 more warp fuel to unlock those black hole flares. Was there anything super useful here? Doom flare buffs. I don't really care about the character buffs so much. I want to buff regular Doom flares. I got Vanguard deployment here. Could be useful potentially. But nothing crazy interesting. We also still haven't gotten claw-crafted bullets, and this would buff this specific army directly. And it would buff all the other armies that use them. In fact, is this the only thing that we haven't gotten? Yeah, it's basically, well, I mean, obviously we're ignoring warp grinders by and large, but we're not using them in big numbers. That would make them really all that worthwhile, at least for right now. You know what, I think we go with claw-crafted bullets instead. I don't really care about the ammunition, but the missile strength is helpful, and it's this army's direct buff in particular. Yeah, too bad it's so difficult to acquire warp fuel, but anyway, let's see what we got. And it's another ambush, so this army will be destroyed easily, and we... Well, then we'll have a decision to make. Well, let's fight this manually real quick, because obviously we don't need to worry about this too much. I was actually kind of hoping that it wouldn't have been an ambush. The one time you don't want it to work, it does. But that's just the nature of things, I guess. On the bright side, this should allow BAK-BAK to heal up and get a free use of healing potion before he heads back into battle, which isn't necessarily a bad thing either. Alright, and this is the same map we got in the previous ambush. Where are the enemy? Let's see, start deployment. Let us move everybody here. Or actually, maybe back here. And then we get a nice hill for... Well, I guess this is a hill as well. I was just thinking where our Jezzails would fire down from. Although, we could do Jezzails firing down from here. And let's say we'll put the chieftain in front of them, in case he has to countercharge something. And then we'll put the rattling guns there. Like so. And the death globes. Do we want the death globes to fire immediately? I'm not sure. Or do we want them to fire if they charge? You can charge the enemy lord directly, my friend. You can move in here, and then we'll move you guys to protect these units. And skirmish mode off. Skirmish mode off. And just stay there. And then I guess catapults. Let's set up some different angles like that, and then maybe one or two. One here. And then one there, so that the enemies basically surround and attack from every side. Also, you know what, just in case, let's change the Jezzail's angles. We also don't want them necessarily to be attacking all the same unit. Although, we could tell them to attack the Lord and kill him basically immediately. Maybe let's tell 2 to attack the Lord. Alright, that looks good to me. Start battle, kill Lord, you, BAK-BAK, potion, and charge. And charge him. And, ooh, of course, rattling guns. Of course you're gonna hurt BAK-BAK. Alright, now, charge him again. Stop him in his tracks and then move. Oh, he's gonna stop you. Oh, that sounds great. Oh, no. Oh, BAK-BAK, you're in rampage now. Alright, that's dangerous. You can do this, and I wasn't expecting BAK-BAK to get so hurt. Damn, great use of fermented fungi. Alright, fortunately this guy's basically dead. And we do have healing potion and regeneration. And... alright, everybody stop firing, stop firing. Don't kill him. Well, kill the enemy lord, but don't kill anything else. We want BAK-BAK to have a chance to heal up, and of course the catapults are gonna hurt us. Catapults you can all fire on this. The enemy lord is dead. Stalk those night gobos. But allow the rest of our units to heal up. Or allow BAK-BAK specifically to heal up. And this will be useful for the next battle. And then I guess Jezzails, yeah, just stalk those units of night gobos and then kill them when BAK-BAK is ready. Alright, catapults, you can stop now. You can stop now. Alright, speed it up to max. This unit will be not viable. Whoa, catapults! No, don't fire on that. Alright, these guys are nearly done. Alright, looks like we won't be getting too much healing on BAK-BAK. Not as much as I'd like for certain. Oh well. Damn, was not expecting that fermented fungi counter. That was great. I think that it wasn't the enemy lord that did the damage to us. It was our own Jezzails and rattling guns that nearly killed BAK-BAK there. Yeah, close one. And also, another worrying thing about this is that BAK-BAK's army might now be stuck. I'm not entirely sure, but it's a possibility. Which will make the next episode quite dangerous for the little guy. But we shall see, and let's see, we are going to heal up to full at least. Though we can't heal BAK-BAK, and oh no, this army actually does get away. Ooh. Well, we're not stuck in the sense that we have to attack, but we are stuck in the sense that we can't return to Kirik Vlag. So we have to do our best to try to destroy this army. I guess. And we could also, we have a guaranteed kill on these guys. They can't resist us. If we were able to succeed in an ambush here, we could damage them pretty heavily, but yeah. We don't want BAK-BAK to get attacked by multiple armies next turn, which is looking like a distinct possibility now, as Uzgar will probably get a... oh, and he has a frickin' Ragnarok too. He'll probably recruit more units. Who knows how many? Could be quite a lot. Local recruitment capacity +1 there at least. So at least 4 most likely. And then he'll march stance together and attack him here. Well, I guess we're going to have to be in danger next episode. Anyway, unfortunately, we're out of time. We certainly don't have We certainly don't have time to fight this battle cinematically. I guess next time we'll be seeing whether BAK-BAK survives this, and then ending the turn, since Medable and Cypress can't move anymore. I was hoping to end the turn this episode to summon Snitch, but not to worry, we'll end it at close to the start of the next turn. Plus, we're running out of enemy troops or enemy massive piles of armies that are really close to us, so the turns should start going a little bit quicker soon, as in obviously an immediate counter to the endgame scenario. Our turns slowed down massively, where it's taken multiple episodes to do a single turn, but considering we have to fight so many battles per turn, and that shouldn't be all that surprising. Once these guys are sufficiently whittled down, we'll obviously speed up. Anyway, stay tuned for the conclusion of the slight cliffhanger as to whether BAK-BAK's army survives next time. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.